Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit late on this one. While we may be a full 2 weeks into 2020, I'm still looking back on 2019. What went well, what went wrong, and what I learned. And that includes my annual review of what books I enjoyed most this year. While my 2018 library was solely dominated by nonfiction books, this year I actually managed to squeak in some fiction books as well. I've been making a concerted effort to read some literary classics in an effort to understand why exactly they're so popular. Here are my 9 favorite books I discovered in 2019. Number 1, The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Dodge. This book, man, wow. This is a must-read for anyone who has a brain. If you've ever felt down, depressed, addicted, different, damaged, broken, sad, weak, or any and all of the above, you simply must read this book. The brain is an absolute marvel of creation, and we still know so little about it. But one thing is for sure, we need to stop placing so many restrictive limits on ourselves. We are capable of so much more than we think, and this book is proof of that. It will shatter every preconceived idea and everything you thought you knew about your own mind. Number 2, The Food Explorer by Daniel Stone. Food, travel, and adventure, all neatly packaged into one very true story. What's not to love? The Food Explorer tells the story of David Fairchild, a young botanist who quite literally transformed how North Americans eat. He dedicated his life to traveling the world in search of new fruits and vegetables that could be cultivated in America's diverse landscape. I learned a lot about food, world history, and American politics. It also gave me some new travel ideas. This world is just too big not to explore. Number 3, The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlben. I have a friend who loves trees. Like, he never shuts up about them. He would often recite tree facts to me regardless of the time or place. The woods and forests seemingly occupied his mind 24/7. While I almost always enjoyed his inspired takes on our often overlooked plant friends, I never took the time to dig deeper on the topic myself. Until I discovered The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlben, a German forester and author, on sale on Amazon's Kindle for just $1.99. At that price, how can you not take a chance on trees? And I'm glad I did. Trees are fascinating, you guys. Number 4, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This is legit one of the most interesting books I've ever read. Never Split the Difference is written by Chris Voss, one of the FBI's top hostage negotiators. His book is all about how to use psychological negotiation tactics to win more negotiations. The stories he shares are fascinating, and the strategies are actionable and practical in every facet of your personal and professional life. 10 out of 10. Give it a read. Number 5, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. I've seen this book in many all-time favorite reading lists. I saw it so often that I felt like I needed to see what the hype was about. Man's Search for Meaning is a deeply personal memoir of a psychiatrist who spent years in Nazi camps during World War II. The author, Viktor Frankl, shares his theory of logotherapy, derived from the Greek word logos, or meaning. He argues that our primary drive in life is not pleasure, but the discovery and pursuit of what we personally find meaningful. Victor makes some great arguments, but ultimately fails to answer the question that concerns so many in this world. How do I find meaning in life? The book is still a great read. In particular, it's truly inspiring to see just how much pain and suffering man can endure once they do find their purpose in life. Number 6, 1984 by George Orwell. As I mentioned earlier, I don't typically read fiction books. In the past, if I wanted fiction, I would watch a movie. I made an exception for 1984 simply because I kept hearing it referenced in every medium imaginable. And I'm personally putting it in the nonfiction category because it barely qualifies as fiction. And now, I finally understand all the references. It is startling just how much of George Orwell's book was essentially prophecy for our time. Based on the content of his story, you'd think this book was written in 2009, not 1949. It even makes you wonder if some nefarious individuals used this book as inspiration for their evil plans. Number 7, Contagious by Jonah Berger. Ever wonder why some products or ideas become popular while others fade away into irrelevance? Jonah Berger has, so he wrote a book about it. Contagious is 100% a marketing book, so if you're not interested in hearing about case studies viewed from the angle of an aspiring entrepreneur, you may want to skip this one. But if you're struggling to sell a product or service, this book is the perfect fit for you. You'll walk away with actionable tips to develop a product or service that is as contagious as the common cold. Number 8, Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer. Do you remember where you put your car keys? Or that you need to pick up milk on your way home from work? Or that you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning? If you've watched the BBC's Sherlock, you probably know what a mental palace is. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But just make sure to only watch the first 2 seasons. It jumps the shark pretty hard after that. But building a powerful memory involves much more than memory palaces. And Joshua Foer does a great job of demonstrating that, like many things we presume to be simple genetics, memory is a learned ability. As such, anyone can do it. In fact, Moonwalking with Einstein chronicles exactly how he went from complete memory noob to the American memory champion in just 1 year. And finally, number 9, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I loved Fahrenheit 451 for the similar reasons I enjoyed 1984 so much. For a book that was written so long ago, it seems to be almost prophetic in how it depicts a vapid, soulless society teetering on the brink of collapse, one that has forgotten what it truly means to live. Ray Bradbury does a masterful job of helping us visualize the dystopian future he's imagined. His ability to describe even the most minute of details as if it is of earth-shattering importance kept me fully engaged. And this book gets bonus points for being a fairly short read. So that's it, my 9 favorite books of 2019. But I want to hear from you. What were your favorite books of 2019? And also, what are you looking forward to reading in 2020?